Hey guys, how are you doing? Hope you guys are doing okay. So this is Monica. I'm back with another video. So today guys, I want to talk about the skills assessment involved and the process of applying for the skills assessment for the carer visa. Remember, on my previous video we talked about the carer visa and the qualifications. Now, we said one of the qualifications for you to apply for this visa is that you will need a skills assessment if you got your qualification overseas. But if you got your qualification in Australia, you do not require the skills assessment. Now, let's jump into the video already. And I remember I mentioned that there are two bodies that are involved in skills assessment for this visa. Now, I'm going to talk about the first one, which is called ANMAC. This is Australian Nursing and Midwifery Accreditation Council that conducts skills assessment for nurses in Australia. And therefore, it has been given this mandate by the government to conduct the skills assessment for the carer visa candidates. Now, the qualifications that you will need. So this ANMAC, on their website, if you just go on their website ANMAC and look for ANMAC skills carer visa application skills assessment, or maybe look for Australian Government Aged Care Industry Labour Agreement, you will see exactly what I'm going to talk about. They have given the steps on how to do the application. However, if you don't have time to go in there, I'll give you an overview. However, it would be very important if you go back for yourself and check. You know, it is good, as much as we give you guys the information, it is good as well to go and check, right? Now, they have given the processes. They've given the processes in how many steps? They've given the processes in 4 steps. Now, I will read as they have written on their website. They have said this: the cost of this skills assessment is $545. ANMAC will assess applications for nursing support officer and personal care assistant occupations only. All right, so to apply for this skills assessment, you must have Certificate 3 minimum qualification in a relevant field obtained overseas, including nursing related study or study in aged care. Or if you don't have the certificate, you don't have the qualification, you should have full-time work experience of at least 12 months in a relevant area completed in Australia or overseas within the last 5 years, including nursing related work or work in an aged care setting. So if you have work experience in Australia and you don't also have a certificate, you will need a skills assessment. But if you have qualifications obtained in Australia, you will not require a skills assessment. Therefore, the next point is they have clarified what relevant means. Relevant means a course or work experience where direct care roles and responsibilities are the focus. This does not include disability support or childcare. If you're a nurse overseas and have completed qualification that has led to professional registration, then you are eligible to apply. You will need to provide evidence of current overseas nursing registration. Other nursing related qualifications will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. This is all on their website. The other thing they have mentioned, you do not need a skills assessment if you obtained your qualifications in Australia. I have mentioned that. All right. If you have completed a qualification overseas from an Australian registered training organization, you will require a skills assessment. This one means there are those Australian schools, Australian registered training organizations, but they are based overseas. So if you get your qualifications there, well, they are Australian training organizations, but they are based overseas, so you still need to do a skills assessment. Okay, and then it says, please note, the skills assessment does not guarantee your employment or migration to Australia. That one we talked about. If you're a disability support worker or provide general household assistance, then you will need to apply for skills assessment with the Australian Community Workers Association, that is Aqua. So we will talk about that next. All right, now let's go to the steps that they have outlined on the ANMAC website. So they have said this: the following information and steps may help to minimize delays in the assessment processes. Okay, step 1, if you're using your overseas nursing qualification to apply for the direct care occupational skills assessment, you will need to arrange for professional registration verification to be emailed to. They've given an email there. I'll try and write the email there. However, also go back to the website and check for yourself the email, and then make sure that this professional registration verification is sent to the ANMAC. I remember when I was doing my skills assessment a while ago. So because I was a nurse back in Kenya, and there's this Nursing Council of Kenya, they emailed ANMAC or APRA, they emailed them my registration to verify that I was registered with them. So I think this is the same thing they mean. So you have to organize it yourself and then make sure they send the nursing qualification to this email that I'll tag there on the screen. Step 2, collect and scan copies of the following original supporting documents. Number 1, statistical pages of passport. I believe that is whereby the back part of your passport, where it shows your date of birth, where you come from, your passport number. The other thing is 2 other official identity documents, including 1 official photo bearing document, e.g. a driver's license, change of name documents if you have ever changed your name, marriage certificate if you're married, an official passport sized photograph taken in the last 6 months. They are not accepting selfie style photos or photos with filters. They will not be accepted. The other thing they will need is, if applicable, graduation certificates and transcripts from relevant occupations only. Your transcripts need to include commencement and completion dates. The other thing, if applicable, a professional reference written by a nursing supervisor to support paid work in a direct care role. So I think it would be very important if you have work experience. Let's say, for example, you're a nurse, you've been working as a nurse back in your country, and you have it is important if you could provide your contracts just as a supporting document, because the more you give, the more documents you provide to prove your employment or your experience, the better for you. So if you could get a statement of service to show when you started when you started your job, what roles you've been performing, what position you've been employed. So the more you provide documentation, the better for you. All right, the other thing you might need to provide is step number 3. Create an account on the login page of ANMAC website. You can only apply once using the same email address. Please use different email address for multiple applications. So if you want to apply different times for skills assessment, you should use different email addresses. Otherwise, just use one email address on one application. The other thing, number 4, is complete the direct care occupation skills assessment application by you complete the online form, processing your credit card payment, the cost of which will cost you 545 Australian dollars. You should checking your email. You received an email from ANMAC confirming successful receipt of your application and payment. You should contact them if you do not receive the confirmation email within 24 hours. You should upload your supporting documents, and once payment is confirmed, by going to the My Account, and they've given section in the ANMAC portal, and then you should contact them if you're experiencing difficulties with uploading your documents. And the last thing you should do is avoid account deletion by submitting your application, and payment within 1 calendar month of creating your account. So once you've applied, you've created an account with Anmark, make sure you pay and submit your documentation within 1 month. Otherwise, they are going to delete your account. However, even if they delete, you can still create another one. But just to avoid delays and wasting your time, just make sure you're ready. Create an account, upload all your documents, pay for their skills assessment, and stay back and relax and wait for them to respond. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the other body that has been mandated to do a skills assessment. The other one is called Aqua. This one has been mandated to do skills assessment for occupations like aged or disabled carer in connection within the new aged care industry labor agreement. And one thing I forgot to mention is when you go on to apply for your skills assessment, make sure you choose the direct care occupation skills assessment, because that is supported by aged care industry labor agreement. Skills assessment application for this occupation are assessed against the following criteria. Number 1, relevant qualification or relevant work experience, and number 2, currency. We are going to understand what that means. Okay, aged care or disabled carer is a person who is qualified or experienced in delivering person-centered services to people who may require support due to aging or disability. The primary focus of the role is to provide emotional support, care, and companionship to individuals to improve their quality of life. Other tasks may include performing general housekeeping and providing household assistance, such as preparing food, assisting in personal hygiene, and getting dressed. So if you have experience in all of this, and you've been doing this, and you have certificate 3 in aged care or disability or nursing, if you have aged or disabled carer certificate 3, you use Aqua. And if you have other relevant like nursing support and nursing, you use Anmark. All right, now the common occupational titles, job titles for aged or disabled care occupation include aged care worker, disability care worker, personal care worker, carer, personal carer, individual support worker, disability support worker, disability development and support worker, community support worker or disability assisted living, in-home support worker, carer or community care worker, home support worker or domestic support worker. So all of this, if you've done all of this, if all you are doing is named one of the ones I've mentioned, remember, you qualify for a skills assessment with Aqua. Please note, having your job title listed does not necessarily mean your work experience is relevant. Relevant qualification obtained overseas, which is equivalent to a minimum AQF, Australian Qualification Framework, Certificate 3 or higher, and includes a relevant vocational placement or practical training. Or if you do not have a relevant qualification and you have a 12 months of relevant full-time work experience or part-time equivalent in Australia or overseas working as an aged or disabled carer. So this is the assessment criteria that Aqua is using to assess to do the skills assessment. All right, you can demonstrate criteria in one of 2 ways. Relevant qualification, that one we've talked about. So that is certificate 3 or higher level qualification obtained overseas or overseas equivalent, which include a relevant vocational placement or practical training. Relevant, and then B, relevant work experience. We've said 12 months work, full-time or part-time work experience. All right, now they have listed what is relevant qualification will typically cover the following. If you are providing individualized support and personal-centered service responses, if you're providing support, independence, and well-being, facilitate community participation and social inclusion, if you are working with diverse people, work legally and ethically, follow safe work practices, meet personal support needs, support relationships with family and friends, work with people with mental health issues and dementia. So this is what is relevant qualification. If this is what falls under relevant qualifications, includes those in aged care, support, geriatric care, disability care support, individual support, home and community care, and nursing. I'll talk about what relevant work experience means. They have said here, if you do not have a relevant qualification, you must demonstrate work experience as an aged or disabled carer. Relevant work experience is defined as employment that, number one, involves the provision of direct service to aged clients or with a disability, or working with clients in similar healthcare setting. If what you are doing is a paid work, full-time work, they don't want volunteering, they want to see that you are getting paid. And then the next thing, so make sure you provide pay slips just to prove that you are employed. Make sure you provide your bank statement, that will be good. And then the next thing they've said is provide a letter from your employer, also known as statement of service, showing minimum 3 months of relevant work experience within the last 18 months and official position description for the industry experience. Aqua have mentioned on their website that if you want to communicate with them, this is what they've said: assessment officers are not available via phone. If you need to update your contact details, you should email. They've given the email there, and include your application ID in the subject line. So please note, assessment team is only available via email. Email response time is 7 days. If you have lodged an application, you must include your application ID. Emails requesting pre-assessment advice will not receive a response. That is, for example, am I eligible? Emails requesting status updates will not receive a response. Emails requesting published information will not receive a response, e.g., what is the fee? They have published, and actually I did not mention they are charging $595 for the skills assessment. And remember, Anmark was charging $545. All right, the other thing they've said, do not send multiple follow-up emails or CC multiple Aqua accounts. This slows down response times for everyone. And if you think, if they give, for example, they finalize your application, they send you a negative skills assessment, and you feel that that was unfair, or you think they should have given you a positive skills assessment, they have advised that you can appeal, and appeals and reviews. You can request an appeal or review of a negative assessment outcome. The policies and procedures for appeals and reviews are currently under review. However, we have introduced an interim policy to ensure applicants can still appeal, review the outcome while this takes place. You need to also submit your documents, just the same as the documents we talked about in the Anmark document checklist. And I'll just run through them quickly. Number one is identity. You have to submit your certified documents of passports, copies of birth certificate, Australian visa or IMI card if you have, driver's license, qualifications, that is school qualifications if you have any. Submit your industry experience, that is official position descriptions for relevant work experience, letter from your employer, your current resume or CV including 2 referees with current contact details, one of whom must have been your workplace supervisor. And remember, you need to provide a referee who can be contacted, because they might decide, and they may and they will contact your supervisor. So if you give a referee or a contact of someone who is not existing, therefore you just know that you'll get a negative skills assessment. And then you need to an agent authorization if you want to use a migration agent. So you have to sign a form to authorize an agent to receive information on your behalf. You have to submit other supporting documents that you might have, like registration, memberships in your country, or training or a country you have worked in. Evidence can include a certified copy of registration certificate or an online registration verification number if there is one. So how to lodge an application is, so they've said Aqua is now assessing skills assessment applications for age or disabled carer. If you have all the documents and are ready to pay and lodge your application, please proceed to the application process page. They've put an application form down there, and you just need to click it and start the application, submit your documents, and then pay and wait for your assessment to be finalized. And all the best. I hope that you guys find this video informative and helpful. I talked about the carer visa, and I mentioned that I will do a separate video to explain on how to do the skills assessment. I have literally read from the website, so however, I have not read everything. I have just been rushing through. So make sure you go on the website, because anyway, if you have to do this assessment, you have to create an account. So it will be very important that you read through. Even if you're using an agent, let me tell you guys, just know what that agent is doing. Go read it for yourself. Have the information on your fingerprints. And I would think this is the easiest thing that anyone can do by themselves. You don't need an agent to do this for you. However, for those people who sometimes we doubt ourselves, and we might give the agent the job. Anyway, I wish you all the best, guys, as you pursue this skills assessment, and I hope everything will go through well for you. Continue, guys, to subscribe to my channel. Please just tell your friends, to tell your friends, to tell your family, to tell your family to support your girl here. We're going to come back with very nice and interesting videos, and I hope you guys will enjoy. Continue putting your comments down there, and let me know what you guys want me to do next, what videos you want me to do. I'm back like I never left, and thank you guys so much for keeping it here. I love you so much, and thank you. Bye.